beautiful people. Welcome back to the greatest channel on YouTube. No, I'm just playing. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tati. Oh, wait. I hope you all are having an amazing, marvelous, and magnificent day or night. And if not, I hope it gets better. How could I forget to say that? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tati B, and if you're a true crime lover like me, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Before we get into today's video, I do just want to remind you of two different things. One, first and foremost, shout out my first comment winner, Paula Taylor. Shout out to you for being an amazing person and always commenting on my channel on every single one of my videos. Thank you so much. It never goes unnoticed. And thank you to everyone that comments on every single one of my videos. It means so much to me. You guys are so sweet and so amazing, and I love you. And I notice and I look at all the comments, so don't ever think I didn't see a comment, because I always do. And also I have a true crime podcast on Spotify. I know I haven't uploaded in like a month or so, but I'm gonna get back into it. So my true crime podcast is called Talk True Crime to Me. I will leave it linked below if you're interested. Check it out. It is not an ASMR, it is in my regular voice, which is also very, very soothing. Let's get into today's video. Today, I'm not sure what I want to title this video yet, but as you can clearly see from the title, we are going to be discussing the unsolved case of little precious Hope from St. Louis. So this little baby girl has never been found, never been reported missing, never been identified for over 40 years. 40 years, y'all. No one has came forward, not a family member, nothing. That is freaking insane. Like, I had to talk about it because this just makes absolutely no sense. Not a family member, not a sibling, not an uncle, not a cousin, not a brother, nothing. And I came across this case because I was actually working on another case that I will have uploaded within a week or so. And I scrolled all the way to the bottom of the article. And on this particular article that I was on, it recommends other cases. And I'm so nosy. I always like get sidetracked and start looking at other cases, which is possibly a good thing because it gives me more ideas. But I came across this case of the little girl and I read up on it, and I just had to talk about it. Like, I literally had to talk about it ASAP because this was just freaking insane and mind-blowing. And I just, like, no one has came. I know I keep saying that, but no one has came forward. Not the mom, the dad, like the grandparents. This baby literally, clearly had no one. This just doesn't make any sense. This is absurd. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. Sit back, relax, grab a snack. And y'all, if y'all know any information out there about this case, about this person, if you're from St. Louis and you know something, please reach out. I will put the tip details in the description box below. Please, you will remain anonymous. Someone has to know something. I don't care if it's 40 years ago. Someone has to know something. So please don't be afraid if you know something. If this reaches to someone that may know something, please don't be afraid to submit a tip and help this poor baby out. This baby needs a name. Like, it's bad enough this baby was taken out of here the way that she was, and on top of that, this baby doesn't even have a name to go by. So yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get to the video. I just needed to share my thoughts on that. So let's get right ahead into it. Warning, this video may contain details of graphic content. This channel is for mature audiences only. Some viewers might find this disturbing. On February 28th, 1983, two men pulled over on the side of the road due to having car trouble. With hopes of trying to find some scraps to fix their vehicle, they stumbled across an abandoned building. This 4-unit red brick building was located at 5635 Clemens Avenue in St. Louis, Missouri. The two men entered the building and was unable to find anything useful, so they proceeded to check the basement. The building was obviously dark, so one of the men pulled out a cigarette lighter. Upon their search, they discovered something that no one would want to discover. Lifeless body of a young African American girl. She was found decapitated, chest down. Her arms were tied behind her back with red and white nylon rope. She had red nail polish on her fingernails. The only item of clothing that was on her was a yellow long-sleeve V-neck sweater. Initially, police assumed that she was a S worker, but once she was flipped over, they discovered her chest area had not yet developed. There was very little blood at the scene, so it was determined that Precious Hope was strangled, decapitated, and the blood was drained from her body at another location, and she was dumped in that building. Police searched a 16-block radius for the girl's head, but they had no luck. Little Precious Hope did not have any distinctive marks or deformities that would have separated her from someone else. Scientists at the Missouri Botanical Garden performed a mold test on the child's neck wound, and it was determined that she had been killed within 5 days of her body being discovered. Little Precious Doe was between the ages of 8 and 11 years old. She possibly weighed between 60 and 70 pounds. She was approximately 4 feet 10 without her head. In order to find the identity of Little Precious Doe, investigators reached out to every school in the district of St. Louis, Missouri, to see if there was a missing student who matched the victim's description. Detectives accounted for every black girl in the district that was between the ages of 8 and 11 years old. The body was kept in the morgue for several months unclaimed. On December 2nd, 1983, she was buried in Washington Park Cemetery. Not only was this poor baby left unclaimed, very few people attended her burial service. The people present were the officiant, the funeral director, the city medical examiner, and several police officers. The gravediggers acted as pallbearers, and the service only lasted 5 minutes. Police suspected a family of Little Precious Doe could have committed this crime, but with no knowledge of where she was from, that didn't go far. They did have a man in mind named Vernon Brown. A young 9-year-old girl by the name of Janet Perkins was murdered on October 24th, 1986 by Vernon. A witness spotted Vernon following Janet home. When he was arrested by police, he confessed to her murder as well as another murder he committed 1 year before killing Janet. 19-year-old Cynetta Ford was found in an apartment basement, strangled and stabbed to death. While Vernon was in prison, Detective Tom Carroll asked Vernon if he had anything to do with the killing of little Precious Hope. He denied having anything to do with this case, but detectives believed he was involved in at least 20 different unsolved cases. Years went by and there were 0 leads. Possibly out of desperation, detectives went on a psychic TV show with a Florida psychic in hopes of getting some type of answers. 2 pieces of evidence were mailed to the psychic that included the yellow sweater and the rope that was used to bind little Precious Doe hands together. The reason the actual pieces of evidence were sent is so the psychic could get a feel for the items. In conclusion, no leads or promises came out of the TV appearance. When it was time to send the pieces of evidence back to detectives, it was never received. The psychic claimed the items were lost in the mail. In 2009, Precious Hope's body was exhumed by detectives in an attempt to identify her. Her remains weren't at the location where she was initially buried at. Instead, there were 3 other bodies near her gravestone. It took 4 years for her remains to be located, and she was finally exhumed in June of 2013. Her remains were sent and examined by researchers from the Smithsonian Institution and the University of North Texas. The minerals content in her bones determined she lived in these following 10 southeastern states: Alabama, Arkansas, the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, or Texas. Little Precious Doe was buried on February 8th, 2014. Her ceremony lasted an hour long and dozens of people came to support her burial. Little Precious Hope was buried at the Garden of Innocence, Calvary Cemetery. Her gravestone is marked as, quote, Hope. Her case is still unsolved and no one has yet to claim her 40 years later. Today, the building where little Precious Doe's body was found was torn down, and it is now a senior living apartment complex. A documentary was made in 2022 to shed light on this case. The guy that made the documentary name is Edward Sosa. Edward explained back in 1983 he was only 10 years old when Precious Doe was found. He lived a few miles from the abandoned building. He stated he learned about the case from his mother, stating, quote, My mom told me you have to be in before it gets dark because they're cutting little kids' heads off now, end quote. He stated his mother stating that stuck with him. 2016, Edward's mother died, which is part of his inspiration in making this documentary. In March of 2021, after getting out of the hospital due to a viral sickness, he told himself, quote, If I live, I was going to make this documentary, end quote. So he got out of the hospital. Around 6 weeks later, he sold his Mercedes, brought all the equipment for it, and made the beautiful documentary. So if you guys can please support this documentary, I will leave it linked in the description box below. Out of all of the children listed on the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, Little Precious Hope is the only child without a photo or facial construction image attached to their profile. No, this was a quick video, but this is all the information I could find. Please, 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 I encourage you guys, if anyone knows something, to please say something. This baby needs a name to her body. She was already taken advantage of. I don't care if the killer is in his 80s. They caught the Golden State Killer as an old man, so they can catch this person. So please, y'all, she deserves to be correctly and properly identified. So if you know something, please say something. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. See you guys in my next video. Bye bye.